We're actually on time for once.
Oh
Oh, we
no.
are live. All right. Hangouts didn't kick us out or didn't stop us before we even went live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Keyboard Warriors, presented by RipTheWarriors.com. I'm Eddie Law. That's just Bakawa. Fred Kirby's on his way. We have a special guest today, Jason House. Agent Jordan there. How are you, sir?
Doing good, sir. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. So, obviously, Jesse brought you on here. So let him take it away.
Oh man, like there's so many questions we've been wanting to ask you, Jason. But first and foremost, you have, like we were talking about right before the show, you have 3 people on the UFC card this weekend. So I'm sure it's a crazy house for you right now trying to manage everybody. But one of the big questions was, I think it was Chito Vera who had his opponent drop out, and there was a story on there that his opponent wasn't going to get released from King of the Cage or something like that. How's that situation going for you? I know your stress level is probably through the roof, though.
I definitely have a lot of faith in the UFC and the matchmaker Sean Shelby to come through and make sure that we stay on this card. And obviously we're able to get Cheeto a replacement opponent. He'll be fighting Nolan Hernandez, and I'm excited for both clients. For Cheeto to stay on the card, he's worked really hard for this camp, and he has the opportunity to further his career and to provide for his family. And Nolan Hernandez gets the opportunity to achieve his dream, which is, to obviously, make his first walk to the octagon.
Yeah, Chito is one of the most inspirational type of guys in the UFC. His daughter having that condition, and every time when he posts something and stuff, it's just so cute.
Yeah.
The love and affection he has for his family. But speaking of, I think also Vince Pichel was is one of your clients. He just had a very successful comeback from injury, and then I think on the same card it was Eric Anders also. So, I mean, you're staying busy. How is that schedule working for you? I mean, I know you like to go to pretty much all the events. I see you all the time out there.
Yeah. No, it's definitely been a very busy year so far. We went straight from Minnesota here to Las Vegas. I'm actually going to be out here, I believe, 9-10 days because we have 2 clients on the Contender Series card the following Tuesday. And then from there we go straight into Sacramento where we have 5 clients on that card. So it's definitely a busy time during the summer, but I really enjoy it. It's very exciting to see your clients compete and take the next step in their journey in the sport.
Yeah. And I was talking to you before the show about some of the things that have come up. We've kind of wanted to talk to somebody kind of in your position and see how it's affected you. One of the big things, keeping on the UFC topic, is the new ESPN deal. Especially no more pay-per-views, all that stuff. Have you seen that affect what you do in in something in a big way, or is it more like just something that you just kind of carve out a little detail here and there in the new contracts and just move on?
Yeah, I don't think it's really going to affect too much. I know there's some concerns, generally just with the new pay-per-view structure and everything. But for the most part, I believe it's business as usual. The UFC has always done a good job of taking care of our clientele, and I'm confident when those situations occur that we'll be able to work out something that's fair for all parties.
Eddie?
Yeah. So one of my favorite things about just talking about Chito Vera, his daughter, right? Like his story is like, it's like, because I know he's from thank you, God. I was thinking, I saw the flag on my head, I couldn't think of the name. Yeah, me and my family were from Mexico, so that whole coming from another country to better your family's life, like that hit me right in the chest when he I think he was on the Tough Series talking about that. So I mean, I know he got the his daughter had the surgery. Do you have an update on her? Is she doing well?
Yeah, she's doing great, doing really great. The surgery was very successful and is definitely a huge blessing that she was able to have that surgery and go through that recovery and that physical therapy process. So it's definitely very motivating for all of us to be part of that process and just to see her smile and to see the joy that she has.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, the story is like incredible. It hits me right in the heart every time I watch Chito like fight. I don't even care who he's fighting. I'm rooting for the guy no matter what. Now his original opponent, I think, was Sean O'Malley, right?
Correct.
What was Chito's thoughts on how that fight fell through? Sean O'Malley tested positive not too long ago, and then they get popped again. We're back to the picograms thing. Yeah, what was his thoughts on this whole thing?
Just frustrated. that fight had a lot of buildup leading up to it. I feel it's a fight that the fans want to see, and we're still hoping that that's a fight that we can make happen down the road. Once Sean handles his business with USADA, it's definitely something that we can bring back to the table and make happen again.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we would love to see that for real. All right. I think Fred's joined us. Are you there, Fred?
I am indeed.
Oh, shoot. And I can hear you. That's perfect.
Oh, that is perfect. You can actually hear?
I can actually hear you. So normally we have issues. Anyone who's watched the show knows that it's always my earbuds that don't work when someone else is talking. So I have to fix it. Anyway, so we have Jason House. He's manager for Chito Vera. You have anything you want to ask?
Not off top. You hit me too quick.
Well, here.
I'm sure Jesus has something.
Yeah, I have something. So maybe it'll spark something for Fred there. One of the other things that we know is kind of up in the air, Jason, is the whole one championship. How they're trying to structure this policy where you have to, live in Asia for the last 5 years. Basically, you just got to be Asian to be a manager over there. How is that affecting you, and how does that change what you're trying to do over there? Is it affecting you, or is it just something that they're trying to keep certain people out of the business? How is that?
It's really hard to guess what they're trying to do or accomplish by that. For me, I met all of the requirements that they had listed, with the exception of living in Asia. They had given an email address to email with any inquiries. I did 3 times and never got a response back. For the most part, with ONE FC, business has gone as usual. So I'm not really sure what the status is of that whole situation. I thought it was something that they were trying to implement immediately, but it doesn't look like they are, at least not to my knowledge, because nothing has been said to me or no one's responded to me. And the clients that we do have in ONE FC, we've gone just business as usual, and things have been fine.
So do you think this was more of to scare some of the low level managers off, or because it was also thrown out there that they were trying to start up their own kind of management type deal? So do you think there was kind of a weird contradiction there?
I definitely think it's a conflict of interest for a promotion to also have a management agency at the same time, because theoretically they would be sitting on both sides of the table. But yeah, as far as to my understanding, I think it definitely was a ploy, or to implement those rules was to eliminate some managers or some groups. But like I said, they haven't acted any way towards me. They haven't even discussed it with me. I tried to email immediately once that article came out to kind of address it, or to see if there's a way that we could work around it to make sure that I was still working with them. And I've not heard anything back from them at all.
That would be a huge conflict of interest, right?
Yes, huge conflict of interest.
Come on, can you imagine if the UFC did that? The shitstorm that would ensue.
Yeah, and I think the issue too was in the article, correct me if I'm wrong, it said something they were going to represent only the top 10% of ONE FC, which I think would even create more animosity for the 90% that aren't represented by ONE FC. There'd be this whole, are they, favoring that 10%, or those guys are getting better opportunities, and etc. You definitely would be curious if the playing field would be equal.
They do a lot of weird shit over there at ONE FC, to be honest. The whole weight cutting thing, they're doing percentages, and I mean, let's be honest. Let's call it spade a spade. They're doing a lot of strange things over there.
That is a question that just popped into my head, because I know a lot of fighters are saying that they don't get to see their opponent weigh in over at One Championship. So is that something that you've encountered with your clients over there, that they don't get to see their
opponent? We have encountered is just, I feel like that process is, I don't know if that really resolves the weight cutting issue in our sport. We've had issues with our clients with that process as well. Having to stay a certain percentage of or a certain percentage they run. You have to be hydrated before the fight. Some guys are cutting weights before the fight to make sure. I mean, it becomes just as much of a mess. Either way, guys are still cutting weight.
Right. I think what was it? For the Sage North type of deal, they were kind of looking at that. His management team was saying that they never got to see Cosmo weigh in, and he looked pretty big, and then the damage he caused to Sage was pretty relevant afterwards. So a lot of questions have come up. So it's kind of weird that not a lot of people are talking about how there's no weigh-in process. Nobody kind of gets to see everybody weigh in. So it's like
they don't have a commission. They don't have a governing body over there. It's not like us where we have states, Nevada State Athletic Commission or California. They're basically self-governing themselves, and so therefore they can kind of do what they want.
Whoa, hold on, wait. You're not allowed to watch your opponent weigh in, or it's like a give or take type deal. You can take it or leave it, or you're like literally not allowed to watch them weigh in.
They just do it at separate times, to my understanding.
That's really strange. You know what? Tell you what, if I'm a manager, I'm not digging that at all. I want to see him on the scale, Jack. Like, am I supposed to just take your word for it that he weighed in? No, that's not how we do business in America. Maybe we just do not trust each other at all. But like that sounds fishy as hell.
How many DCs are holding on to a towel over there, right?
Yeah, exactly. What about that?
Yeah, hate the player, don't hate the game. Or don't hate the player, hate the game, dude.
Let me ask you this, Jason. Like, I know you have NFL clients as well. You guys are licensed and everything. So how's that different? Like, how do you see the difference, and how do you see maybe the UFC fighters or fighters in general could do something like the NFL players have? Like, do you see like a road that could be carved for the fighters to kind of get the same kind of rights and everything as the NFL players?
That's a really good question, and I don't know if I ever foresee there being a like the NFLPA, if there's ever a fighters association in that aspect. It's just very different because, in a league, it's a team structure. Theoretically, the NFLPA only governs NFL, right? Where if you go in our situation, what about fighters in Bellator, PFL, or ONE FC? I don't know if that model or structure would ever fit our sport.
Okay. Now listen. Let me ask you a really important question. All right. We probably got about 9 or 10 keyboard warriors watching this show right now. And I'm really curious about something. How do you get into managing fighters? Like, you don't go to university or college for this stuff, right? Like, how do we be like you, baby? We trying to get paid too. You understand me? Like, how do we break into the business? If we wanted to start managing fighters, how do we go about something like that? Where do we start?
It actually kind of fell into my lap. I was in law school and I was training at Team Oyama in Irvine. And at the time I was, rolling with Jiva Santana, and we kind of really hit it off. And, I was really talking to him, and he was really influential in kind of getting me in with Colin Oyama and to start working with their team. And, I really enjoyed the sport. And I started interning at a agency that represented MMA fighters. They're no longer in business now, but at the time, they were pretty prominent. And one thing kind of led to another. When I finished law school, I really felt this was my calling. So my dad loaned me $2,000 and said, "Hey, move back home and start a corporation. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, at least you tried."
Well, there you have it, kids. That's a success story if I've ever heard one. $2,000 and you're in the business. I can dig that.
Yeah. My parents were really supportive of that. I think most parents would be like, "Hey, take the law firm job and start paying back Sally Mae." And Pops was really cool about it. He really invested a lot of man hours with me in the first 3 years, try to teach me how to run a business, because unfortunately in college they don't teach you that stuff.
It's amazing. That's a very good point too. You're right, man.
So
good point.
And the other thing is you have to, as some of us know and some of us don't know, Jason is one of the managers that in the background, when you hear fighters or anybody else in the business talk about Jason, it's not that he's out there. He's the guy that's being wild and out there and making all kinds of crazy statements, but his fighters are very, very happy with his management style, and they really, really are happy with him, in general. And like I said, you see him at, the house shows like a Combates, you see him, pretty much, in his fighter's corner sometimes. So it's amazing that, Jason is the type of guy that has that access to these fighters. And yet not a lot of people talk about you. So, I always want to praise somebody like that that's not out there in the media trying to buff himself out and be the star.
I'm the guy behind the guy behind the guy, and I'm comfortable in that role.
I was going to say, listen, if you need a guy to put out there to buff you up a little bit, I'm your man. You know what I'm saying? I got no problem shining up the fucking brand.
What's up, Nacho? Cheeto's kids are here.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So,
go ahead.
last question for me is, so you've got a couple of NFL players. Any other people you have under your what is it, Team Iridium? You know, do you have any other athletes out there that we should be taking a look out or on the watch for?
You mean like prospects wise, or?
Yeah.
Man, we have a really good developmental program here at the agency, and I think it's really shown in the last couple years of Contender Series. I believe we had 14 clients in the first season of Contender Series. Last year we had 13. This year I think we're around 11 right now so far. I know there's a couple slots more we're still trying to fulfill. I really feel like this year's class of prospects that are coming in that are fighting will be very exciting. I know next week we have Jonathan Pierce and Hunter Azure out of the lab. And, those two, I'm very excited to see them kind of make their big show debut there. We've always had a lot of success in the Contender Series. If you look at some of the athletes that we've had graduate from there, the Ricky Simones and Montel Jacksons and Devontae Smith and Ian Heinisch and Vince Morales and Jalen Turner. I'm going for days of athletes, Alex Perez, that we've had come from that show. So we've had a lot of good success. And I think the key is, you're never rebuilding, you're always reloading, and you're always developing on the regional scenes, the Lights Outs and the LFAs and Hitachi Palaces and the Titans FCs. Those are the shows we really have to develop our talent on. The Island Fights, these shows really produce a lot of good prospects and develop prospects properly.
All right, anything else, boys, before we let Mr. House go?
That does it.
All right, hey, Jason, thanks a lot for joining us, man. We really, really appreciate it. I know you got a busy week coming up.
No problem.
You want to just let us know which fighters you got coming up this weekend besides Chito?
We have Chito Vera, Nolan Hernandez, and Sri Contra. Yep.
There you go. All right, so y'all keep an eye on those guys. And then if you want to throw out your social media stuff, people can follow you.
Yeah, you can follow me at Iridium Sports. That's our handle for Twitter and Instagram.
All right, folks. Hey, really appreciate it, man. And you guys have a good weekend. And let you guys know we wish them luck this Saturday.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thank you, brother. Have a good night, man.
Bye.
All right, boys. That was Jason House from Meridian Sports. A lot of good insight about managing right there. That was
y'all about to fuck around and see Daddy Fred managing fighters in this bitch. I didn't really realize you could just do it with two bands. You understand me? Shit.
I knew, but man, I knew how to get into it. It's just it's hard to get into it. You know what I mean?
Shit, I know a couple knuckleheads here from the city. I teach them a couple skills. Ride them right into the UFC.
I was going to say
champions or nothing, but you know what I mean? They might be able to get me paid a little something. They're tough.
I could see Fred. I could see Fred like Jimmy Hart, with the little microphone, the little suit.
Oh, right. Yeah. Old school right there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, Fred joining us now. We obviously have a card from last weekend to talk about. The main thing to talk about last weekend is Ngannou knocking the hell out of JDS.
All right.
What? Go ahead. Go ahead, Jesse. Take it away.
Yeah. No. I probably have the only opinion of this, but okay. I'm disappointed, and I didn't learn anything new in that fight. And I don't know if you guys feel this way. I understand he's got heavy hands, and his one hit power is amazing, Ngannou. But we already knew that. There's nothing new that he showed in that fight that indicates to me that if he had a fight against Stipe or DC, that if he didn't get that one shot in, he'd win that fight. So do you guys feel a little disappointed? Because I feel disappointed in that I'm not learning anything new except that he hits you and you go to sleep.
No, all I smell is a big fat fucking hater in the room right now. Of course we didn't learn nothing new, Jesus. He fucking starched him out in about a minute and a half. What is there to fucking learn? But I tell you what we did learn. What we learned is that it doesn't seem like he's going to have a Derek Lewis moment again. It seems like he's fucking going to keep letting his hands loose. Now, yes, obviously Stipe or DC could wrestle him to the ground. Look, here's the reality too. I don't think he's going to do anything with anybody that would prove that other. You know what I mean? DC is going to wrestle fuck him, period. I don't give a shit if he comes out and would have stuffed a couple. You know what I mean? Like, let's say the fight goes on a little bit and JDS shoots for a couple takedowns and bigger and shit, old Francis stuffs him. We're not going to come out of that like, well, no, DC might not be able. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what, if they fight, it's written in stone. DC is going to be able to get the takedown, or Francis is going to have to start you. The only issue I had with Francis was that fucking Derek Lewis fight where he was acting weirdy-beardy and gunshot. If that happens, Francis is fucked no matter what. As long as he lets his hands go, he's got as good a shot as any.
Yeah, but I mean, don't you think that at this point we could see, or at least I would like to see him kind of mix it up, kind of do a little bit more than just kind of plot forward, punch somebody in the face and put him to sleep. I want to see him evolve as a fighter, because you can't win a championship off of that. Because here's the thing. He got some good shots on Stipe and he couldn't put him to sleep. And then he got, trucked for the rest of the fight. And then that was it. Like, he just kind of broke. And then it took him one fight to come back and really get himself back into like, well, I could just throw my hands and knock people out. Well, I'll just keep doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to see him do something else and just knock people out.
God damn it.
That's not gonna get you to the top.
God damn it. Bullshit. All right. If fucking cute little Stipe couldn't have got the takedowns, he wouldn't have kept eating those goddamn punches. Eventually, he would have got thunderstruck and snuffed right out. Yeah, listen. Chuck Liddell, all right? He fucking did it. And listen, Damian Maia fucking got to win this last weekend. You can fucking be a one-trick pony. You just got to be able to do the other shit just good enough. Francis does not need to out-grapple any goddamn body. All he needs to do is prevent cocksuckers from putting him down and holding him down and just keep a little stank on his punch. Nobody has yet shown the ability to strike with Francis. You know what I mean? Like, Stipe took him down and showed how to beat him, but ain't nobody stood up there and banged with him yet and lived to tell the tale. So what I gather from that, what you mean?
Well, I mean, Curtis Blades, when they first fought, Curtis Blades didn't get KO'd. You remember, it was a doctor stoppage. And I still think that Curtis Blade fight was stopped a little early, that second fight.
So, I'm telling you right now, Jesse, you're showing your hater your hater flag. No. You got a fucking hard on for first off, that fight happened 32 years ago. A, B, he knocked him out the second time they fought twice. What the fuck? That completely nullifies that first fight. Oh, Jesus Christ, get the fuck out of here.
Look, Fred, I agree with you. I agree with everything you're saying, and I'm very excited to see him fight either DC or Stipe. I just feel that, like, I would love to see more before I invest fully into the Francis hype train. Now, remember, we were all here talking about Francis before he even had those opportunities. It was him and Curtis Blades. Both of we were all talking about both of them before this whole hype train started. Why? Because we saw the potential. I just want to see more out of him before I'm like, this is the next guy.
Okay, but listen, to be fair, I think you're being very unfair. I mean, look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If he's thunder striking fools and they're going to sleep, I can't be like, well, I'd like to see him use a little more Muay Thai. Like, if he's fucking blasting fools and they're going out, it is what it is. I just don't want to see that fucking Derek Lewis shit again. I don't want to see him gun shy. I think that would be the worst. Long as he's letting them go and knocking motherfuckers out, I'm here for it.
Okay, so I just saw right now something on Twitter where it said Brendan Schaub, and you can take his opinion for whatever the fuck it's worth. He says JDS was scared to get hit by Francis Ngannou. Anybody here agree with that shit?
No.
I mean, look, man, he got popped. He turned around and was trying to get away, and he got popped again and dropped. I mean, Brendan, let me tell you something too. I actually enjoy watching the show for some fucking reason. I think it's like watching a fucking car wreck. You just kind of can't take your eyes away from it. You're waiting for him to say the next stupid fucking thing. But that's about a dumb comment. And look, he knows more about fighting than I ever will. The dude's actually fought in the UFC before for all the shit that you'd like to give him. He's not just a random dude who knows nothing about nothing. You would think he would know that fucking JDS, I don't assume, is afraid to get hit by anybody. The dude's been getting punched on by the fucking toughest dudes on planet Earth for the last 15 years. But when you get socked by somebody like Francis, you probably tend to turtle up, shell up, move away. I mean, it probably fucking hurts. And beyond hurting, on some real ass shit, he probably just feels his fucking hopes and dreams and aspirations slipping into the wind. Like, you catch a little taste of it and you're like, fuck me. Any moment now. I mean, I think it was Joe Rogan that was saying it. Like, you get a little taste and you're like, all right, any moment I'm gonna see those fucking lights. And you know what I mean? He's been knocked out before, so he's probably like, uh-oh, here it is. Boom, fuck. I knew it. You wake up on the ground like, God damn it. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, afraid.
But I think the problem is that Brendan comes off a little bit like kind of like sour grapes, right? When he says like, oh, that person's afraid. Yet he's the first one to say, you know, nobody's afraid in the UFC. Like anybody that says that a fighter's afraid to fight or get hit or anything, they don't know what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like for him to like come out and say that somebody is afraid to get hit, like you're telling me that, you know, these top contenders in the UFC heavyweights are just going to walk in there and be like, well, I'm not afraid to get hit by Francis. No, that's stupid. You know, it's more like, I don't want to get hit by this dude because I know like he doesn't really have to hit me cleanly for me to go to sleep. And then you know, you go and look at what happened to, you know, the past opponents, and anybody that even gets remotely hit, like, you know, gets put on the moon. So it's like, you just got to be cautious with a guy like that, right? And that's the thing that like worries me about Francis moving forward. If someone can nullify that, what's his plan B? You know what I'm saying? But I mean, to each his own. What do we do with him next, Fred? Is it a title shot or is it John Jones?
Oh, that would be
listen,
shit.
Listen. I've been beating that John Jones drum for a while, Jack. I tweeted out immediately after the fight. That's the fight. I think that's probably one of the more exciting fights you can make in MMA right now. But on a realistic note, it doesn't seem like John has any interest in heavyweight. It's surely, you know, if he does go to heavyweight, why the fuck would he fight Francis when he could just skip right past him and fight DC if he wanted to? You know what I mean? So, like, as much as I love that fight, it don't seem like that fight's very likely. So, at the end of the day, one would assume it's the winner of fucking DC and Stipe, which is ironic too, right? Like, let's say, hypothetically, for the sake of conversation, let's say DC does beat Stipe again, and then he beats Francis. You could almost make a point that, like, DC beat up a whole bunch of motherfuckers that John didn't. Like, John gets to steal that legacy from DC. Like, if DC beats Stipe and Francis, he gets to fucking, you know, retire and be like, I did all this, and John be like, yeah, and I beat him twice. So just give me all those little souls and straps too, Jack. I might as well beat Stipe and Francis. Now I might as well just give me the heavyweight belt too. He's my bitch anyway. So they're beating y'all, and he just assisted that and beat twice. So
and imagine John Jones would probably say he had to run to heavyweight to avoid getting beat by me again. You know, like he has so many like ways of like just digging at poor DC, who's not gonna come down.
Yeah, guys, ever heard John Jones talk smack? It's cringy as shit. He ain't saying none of that. His fucking supporters, his fanboys are saying that shit, not him. He's not quick enough to say that shit. You guys remember that shit talking shit where you got behind the scenes? We call, are you still there, pussy? That was god awful.
Let me tell you something right now, son. I like DC. He's a great guy,
right? Great
analyst, and usually he's pretty good at the smack talking. I'll tell you something right now. He's fucking up with this whole 205 thing. What he needs to be doing, he needs to be goading John into heavy. You know, y'all see the interview? I think it was with the Nose. And John Jones called Israel Adesanya a little light in the panties, or light in the ass, or whatever the fuck he called him, light in the something.
Oh my god!
If I'm DC,
light in the ass,
light in the ass. If I'm DC, that's when after I beat Stipe, hey John, come to heavyweight. Or are you too light in the ass? You want some of these big boys? You want some of Francis? You want some of Stipe, the guy I just beat twice? Come fight him. I would start fucking goading John. Why you scared of heavyweight? Who the fuck is Thiago Santos? Like, you know who I just beat? Stipe Miocic, the best heavyweight of all time. Who the fuck did you just fight? A blown-up middleweight that got sparked out by fucking David Branch. David fucking Branch, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if that rings a bell for any of you fucking pricks out there, but I'm waiting for the fucking humdingers. Shit.
I'm just saying. Don't look past Thiago Santos and winning that fight.
Get the fuck out of here. As long as John's got the picograms in him, there ain't a god in heaven.
I picked Santos on the case. I press pick him just because no one else was, and because I'm so fucking low on the rankings, I'll never catch up to win that shit. But I'm not gonna go here and be like, I fucking told you guys. I have no faith in Santos beating that dude. All right, I have none because of what Fred just said. Picograms. It's kidding. But that's that. But regardless. I'm tired of blown up middleweights going to 205. Like Rockhold saying he's gonna be the guy that takes out John Jones. Shut the actual fuck up. Relax. Okay. Get past Black Oasis or whatever, and then we'll talk. But anyway, all right. So
yeah, okay, right. To get the fucking train back on the track, I suppose Francis gets the winner of Stipe DC. Where the fuck else could he possibly go? Unless John Jones does try to get cute and make it a little appearance of heavyweight. I'm down with that. Other than that, he's got to get the winner.
Okay, but do you think DC retires after this fight, or do you think we get to see DC defend the title one more time?
I think Francis might have sealed his deal with DC with this last performance. I think he might have enough hype now that it might merit DC to fight. He's got a pretty a nice little hype train behind him now. Look, maybe.
DC is a wrestling fan, right? He loves storylines. Like, you beat my boy, I'm come get you now. Now you come see me now. Okay. While Kane's off doing pro wrestling and shit and whatever little goddamn I need to actually blow out promotion he's in. Fucking DC can fucking go after it. Fuck it. So I think DC beats Stipe, and at the end I think he fights Francis, and that's gonna be one of those like take him down fucking quick, cause goddamn type of fights. All right. Raider, what's up? MMA Gods in the house. QC's here. Jeremiah from Hardcore MMA's here. Who else we got that I missed? Frederick. Hey, what up, Frederick? All right. Raider says Ngannou only has heavy hands, and that's it. Fair enough.
I mean, listen, that good. It's hard to fucking say. We haven't really seen him.
We haven't had him. Yeah.
He's had the shitty performance with Derek Lewis, and then he's just sparked everybody out.
Right.
And then he did get thunder beat by Stipe, but it's hard to say. I mean, probably so. But here's the thing: most heavyweights aren't great martial artists. So at heavyweight, that's kind of enough. Look. Cute Cocksucker's fucking flourishing. If you got that kind of stopping power at heavyweight, it's all you really need.
Look, I mean, when I tell, because I have the same viewpoint as you, Fred, when it comes to heavyweight. As long as you hit really fucking hard and you're accurate, you got a good chance. Because how many times we hear about Roy Nelson's black belt in jiu-jitsu all the time? How many times we see jiu-jitsu? Never. Ever.
And listen, yeah, I can literally name on one hand the amount of big guys who have had elite level BJJ. I mean, right? Well, we got Frank Mir, Minotauro, Verdum. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there's literally like 7 of them or some shit if you stretch a little bit. Like, there's not that many big dudes that are really, doing shit on the ground. Yeah, Roy Jones, black belt. It's like fucking BJ Penn's motivation.
But you know what's the thing though is that you guys are right. If you hit hard and you can just stay in the sport long enough, look at what was the little short Australian guy that just retired or got kicked out of the UFC.
Got kicked out of the UFC.
Yeah. That was suing the UFC. What's his name?
I can't remember.
Who was it?
Fred?
What are we talking about?
Fred? Help me. The heavyweight that was saying he has brain trauma.
Mark Hunt?
Yeah, Mark Hunt. There you go. I mean, he made a career basically. Oh, sorry, New Zealand.
That's all good.
He made a career basically just knocking dudes out. Didn't have a great record, but he was a fan favorite because he was knocking dudes out. Even got a title shot off of that, right? So I mean, you guys are right. Like I guess maybe I expect a lot more because we're in a different era now, right? We're in an era where the mixed martial artist should be that. We should have like a GSP that's that big, can hit that hard, can do all the wrestling, can do all that. But I mean, people like to see people get KO'd, right? So
listen, to be fair too, just to put a little bow on this Ngannou thing so we don't waste the whole fucking show on him, but it also should, not be overlooked, this whole African connection.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, when you got a country behind you, they tend to get right behind you. Ask old fucking Wing Chun, whatever the fuck, that Chinese broad that's about to get a title shot. Like, if you got a fucking if you're a country's last hope, they'll put a lot in you. And Africa has a lot of hype right now. They got fucking Kamaru Usman. They've got a couple of African kids that are doing really good. Now they got fucking Ngannou, Israel. Yeah. What the fuck? Like, I mean, so I could see UFC doing a barn burner of a show in Africa to Ngannou getting his title shot. Can you imagine that? A fucking show in Nigeria or some shit like that. And fucking Usman and Israel on the card. Fucking
I'll tell you what. If the UFC pitches at the DC, right? Let's go to Africa, South Africa, wherever you want to go. Wherever you want to go in Africa, okay? Let's go to Africa. DC's gonna be like, no, fuck you. Oh, here's a check. Oh yeah, thanks.
You know what? I disagree. Really? I think that might be the selling point for DC.
Maybe.
How? I mean, look, not to make it a big fucking major racial thing, but DC is a black man,
right?
How many times it would be like the UFC's first event in Africa, or like
Oh, he'd do that.
An event like that where like it's going to matter to the African people. Like if they do it and sell it right, like that could be a real, you know what I mean? Like the first event or with the first event with Connor in Ireland, like one of those big deals where they come and it like makes a fucking impact. I'll tell you what, dude. I said this years ago when I seen that fucking Sanglese wrestlers or some shit like that on Vice. I'm like, yo, if they get into a couple of these little tribes of Africa, these brothers are going to come over and start beating the fucking dog shit out of us. Like, they're already physically superior. If they get taught some fucking moves, you see. Look at Francis Ngannou.
And you know what's interesting? Imagine pitching it to DC as, you want to have that iconic like final fight, right? Like you want to retire, you defend your title in Africa, reminiscent of Muhammad Ali,
Right.
like some of that stuff. You can actually conjure some good images, and DC would be down for it because he wants legacy, right?
Right.
DC doesn't care about like, oh, you defended the title. It's legacy now because he's looking at the end. So I mean, you're right. Like some of these things could be very, very interesting if they play it right.
Yep, for sure.
No. So like, I was gonna say that right now. I mean, imagine the promotion for that fight. Make it even if you make it a pay-per-view, you're gonna make it a pay-per-view, but make a promotion for a fight like that. Because I mean, obviously we're it was in 1974, so I don't think any of us were around. But Rumble in the Jungle, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman. Like, there's been documentaries made just about that event alone, and it was massive in Zaire. It's a massive thing. You could do something similar with that if you sell it right. You know what I mean? And Francis versus DC. I think the UFC would jump on that in a heartbeat. Plus, if DC is able to get past Stipe and he's still willing to fight.
Plus, even if it's not DC, even if it's Stipe, right? Like you could still make a big event out there.
Real talk. If Stipe somehow does the unfathomable and beats DC, that's a bigger fight. Because Francis gets to avenge his one loss. Like that would be even bigger for Africa and the whole event. As much as I hate to cut DC out of this equation, that would be an even bigger fight.
And real talk, Stipe is white.
Yeah. No,
I'm telling you. Look,
I don't think it would matter that much, but it's a bit of a visual. It's a bit of a visual. I'll tell you
this. To all those guys and gals with office jobs and bankers and shit, they won't give a fuck. To all those motherfuckers working in warehouses and at docks and fucking sweeping up sidewalks and shit, they're gonna give a major fuck about that. Let's be real about that shit. They will care.
Trump America, you know what I'm saying? Those motherfuckers will be like, well, yeah, Stipe got a funny name, but
100%. Everyone, they're not gonna. I mean, it's gonna get political real quick, but all it's gonna make is huge numbers. That's all it's gonna do.
Yeah, and you think about it, if the UFC really pushes that story of Ngannou, right? The guy that was working in the mines, didn't have a cent to even rub together, 2 pennies to rub together, and now he's back in his home country fighting for the title against the white guy, right? The atypical fireman white guy. Like, I mean, you guys are right. Like, it's either that's a big story or DC and his retirement, trying to go for a legacy. Either one sells itself, man. The UFC just making money.
Yep, for sure.
Definitely. All right. And you know what? The one fight I'm thinking about right now, if Ngannou is able to win this fight, right, or get the title shot. Let's say John Jones fights one more time. Let's say Ngannou beats, let's say Ngannou beats the winner of DC Stipe is a champion. For sure, John Jones is going to fight one more time after that before the year's over, I think. Okay. John Jones in the microphone to whoever he beats in that fight, be like, Francis Ngannou, where you at, motherfucker? Imagine John Jones with Francis Ngannou in Africa. That would be insanity. To me, it's an even bigger fight. But all right, we've spent enough time on Francis.
Do they have cocaine and women of the night over in Africa for John Jones?
You got that money.
They do. You betcha they do.
And I bet it's cheaper. Just saying.
Yeah, but I don't think they're up John Jones's alley, right? I think he's more of the white girls type of deal.
Listen, for John Jones's money and stature, they'd give him a small village over there. They'd bring him motherfucker a king immediately.
They'll be naming their kids John Jones for years to come.
Importing white broads from Sweden all over. Jack, in there.
100% that would happen. All right. Priya Real's trying to save DC over here in the comment section. She don't want to see DC again. She goes, just let DC win for Stipe and retire. Then Ngannou can fight Stipe, or Ngannou can sleep John Jones. She's pretty much doing the whole leave DC alone. Like I'm with you. I like DC, but
listen. As appealing as that is, if DC beats Stipe, we ain't fucking accepting Stipe as Ngannou's next opponent. That's not going to work for us.
QC making a good point. He goes, He goes, well, MMA God says, yeah, UFC Paris will be next year because Prince is working on legalizing MMA in 2020. And QC says they hold the UFC in France before Africa, I think. MMA God says this. He goes, I'm with you, QC. There was a massive bombing in Nigeria a few weeks ago. UFC would need tons of security. They need tons of security even without a bombing in the place. So.
Yeah, bunch of fucking pussies. You see, already we started with the fucking. Let's just go to Paris instead. Man, fuck France. Don't let a couple bombings scare y'all off of the fucking Nigeria. Listen, if they could do it in fucking Zimbabwe back in 72, they can figure it out now.
It is different, but I mean, look, they go to Brazil all the time. They go to Mexico.
Fucking Russia.
Yeah, Russia. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. Maybe more money for them for security, but not a big deal.
They would need some security. Listen, all they gotta do is come in, pay a little bread. Listen, let's be honest. Boko Haram is probably gonna be around the way controlling some shit. You just find one of those pricks, cut them off a cool couple hundred American USD, tell them to fuck off. You know what I mean?
Isn't that what they had to do for Brazil, right? If I remember correctly, didn't they have to go in there and pay some favela leaders or something?
Listen, I know some of the UFC crew got stuck up in Brazil one time, Jack. They got robbed outside the hotel. Give us all those cameras.
Okay, wait. They robbed Shogun. Knowing exactly who he was, they still robbed him.
Right. Right. Motherfucker, you can't kick this fucking bullet. Give it up.
Hey, Shogun's a legend. Shogun's a legend in Brazil and everything, but he's still a richer man than 99% of that country. So they're gonna hold his ass up.
Right. And I mean, the gun is the great equalizer, and especially a motherfucker who will use it. Like a motherfucking little broke, hungry motherfucker. Give it up, Shogun. We ain't playing with you. You ever want to fight again, you better give it up.
You remember that story because he was like, "Do you know who I am?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we know who you are."
Yeah. Don't make us do underwear. You ain't gonna fight. Listen, let's keep it a bean. You ain't been fighting too good, anyways. We shoot you in your motherfucking knee, and you gonna be taking some real beatings, Jack. Give it up.
Shit. All right, one more fight I want to talk about in this card before we move on to this weekend's card. Joe B, or what do you call him, Joey 2 times. Joseph Benavidez taking out Husia Formiga, I think in the second round, knocked him out, or TKO, or whatever. Jesse, your thoughts on giving him the next shot at Henry?
I mean, I guess if you're gonna keep the flyweight division around, yes. If basically that was the whole division right there, those 3 guys, then there's no point in having that division. Everybody should move up to 135. So whatever, man.
Okay.
Yes. God damn it. Hell yes. And I'll tell you why. 2 reasons. A, I fucking think Joey B can beat that cocksucker, and that makes my fucking dick hard for 2 reasons. 1, he's already beat the little short Mexican prick. 2, he's a fucking 25er. So stick that right in your bantamweight ass fucking Henry. If you get beat by a flyweight, you keep your little nasty ass at flyweight. Matter of fact, you can just fuck off the Ryzen for all of me after that. But I want to see him lose to a legit flyweight. That would make me very, very fucking happy. And I think Joseph Benavidez can actually do it. All hyperbole aside, it will at the very least be a real competitive fight. And I'm sure Henry wants that one back, right? Like, other than DJ, that's the one person that's beat him in the UFC. So, like, I think not only do I think that's the fight they should make, but I think that's the fight that actually will get made. I mean, what else is going on 35? You know what I mean?
But
yeah, I mean, 35. They're talking. What are they talking? They're talking. Fuck.
Yeah,
we're talking 35.
Aljo and Peter Yan doing the fucking interim title, and I'm down with that. Let Aljo and Peter Yan. You know what? Give them an interim title or don't. Let them fucking fight to see who the real contender at bantamweight is. And while they're doing that, let that little gross Mexican prick defend his fucking title at 25.
Hey, whoa.
Why you gotta be Mexican? I know. I'm sorry. I apologize. I shouldn't have threw that out there. He's just a gross prick, and ain't got nothing to do with him being
Mexican. Jesus Christ!
A little corny bastard making us all look bad.
That's right.
Sorry, I'm looking on Twitter. You guys know Makikawa is manager for John Jones. Yeah, John Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he is no longer going to be giving any reporters any news whatsoever. He's going to start breaking his own news. So someone sent this to me earlier. What did he tweet? You saw this, right, Jesse?
Yeah. Do we care?
Yes, he says, huh?
Do we care?
Well, I just think it's hilarious. He goes, MMA fans, going forward, I will not break all of our fighter news myself. No more confirmations or reporters need to call for verification. Even as things are talked about, I will tweet about them. Follow info as it happens. And then he goes, I think like 5 or 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes after Brett Okamoto reported it first, he goes, on that note, Michelle Waterson has agreed to fight Jonathan Jacek October 12th, and city is San Fran from what I'm being told. And it's just like, there's some people that are like, fuck yeah, get him, Kawa, all this shit. And there's it's weird. I don't see the reasoning for it. He doesn't really give a reason for it. He kind of just says why not. But it's just have you seen this?
Here's the problem with that, right? You'll see certain people who will do the podcast circuit now, right? Like you'll see motherfuckers on certain podcasts, and you'll see them on all these different platforms.
Yeah,
they always do more views on Joe Rogan. You feel me? Like he can break all the news he wants, but at the end of the day, he's gonna need fucking people like Ariel Helwani or Dana White or people with, quite frankly, a bigger platform than him to help him spread his fucking news. Like, yeah, you can tweet it, and then guess what happens? Ariel follows you, and he retweets it, and his retweet gets 1,000. Listen, I know this to be a fact. Back in the day on Stand and Bang, we would fucking get fighters, interview them. The next goddamn day, they do that fucking stupid ass MMA hour to get 147,000 views, and we got fucking 300. And our goddamn interview would be halfway better than fucking the goofy ass noses, at least for fucking half the views. It don't fucking matter. Like he had the platform. Fucking, what's that prick's name? Makawani?
Malkikawa.
Whatever. Jesus Christ. This prick. It don't matter.
You're right, Fred. It doesn't matter, but it also is kind of a dumb, like deftone attempt to like drive people to him, because we all know what's going to happen, and you just said it. Some other person is going to write up exactly what they do for the Joe Rogan, right? Someone just sits there and just types up a little story with the clickbait headline. Oh, Joe Rogan trashes so and so. So now they're going to be like, so and so, is agreeing to fight so and so, and then at the bottom it's going to be like source Malkikawa's Twitter. It's like it's so stupid.
Well, he just said he's gonna tweet it, bro. Ariel's just gonna follow you, hit you with the retweet and the little smiley face, and like, what fucking good is that gonna do? Yeah, you'll break it first for every bit of 60 seconds before Ariel and Luke Thomas and Tom and fucking me retweets it. What the fuck? Like that? I don't get it. I mean, I guess I kind of get it, but maybe to help skew misinformation or something. Like if you don't see me tweet it, it ain't real. But like you ain't gonna. Everybody ain't about to come follow you now. We'll just wait for fucking Ariel to get it and retweet it. Now all of us that are following him or Luke or whatever, we'll get it then.
So Eddie, do you know what was the thing that was misinformation out there, or what like started this whole thing of why he's doing this? Or is it just like he just felt like, well, I'm gonna have to break my own news and that's it?
I think because I think he constantly has reporters fucking hit him up for
that's
for
his
news
job.
and shit.
That's his job, right? He's the manager. That's his job.
Right. Here's why I don't mind. Well, okay, first of all, I'm not an insider. I'm not trying to get fucking, I'm not trying to hit up Maki for fucking news or anybody else, okay? But I find it hilarious, and I want to see how all these insiders, where they get their sources now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's always been fun. I've been a journalist. I was a pro. I did the job, right? I know how this shit works, okay? I also know how, dirty ass, fucking whack ass journalists use sources and shit. Okay. There's the wrong way and a right way to do this. And a lot of guys, I'm telling you right now, a lot of your favorite insiders are doing it fucking wrong. And that's when shit gets wrong and fighters get pissed off and you get Makikawa going, you know what? Fuck everybody. I'm going to break our news now. Because you hear it from the horse's mouth. You know what I mean? What's more accurate than that at that point? But there are plenty of reporters that are kind of pissed about it. I mean, not pissed, but they were questioning it. I saw a few, why are you doing this? I saw Luke Thomas hit him up, like, what's the reasoning behind this? And all sorts of shit. End of the day, they can just do, they can kind of do whatever they want. So, don't worry. Ali Abdelaziz is still going to be, fucking Ariel in the mouth to give him fucking news right through his fucking dick. And also this shit, it won't matter. It doesn't matter. One guy's not going to matter. Don't worry.
The other way around. The other way
around. Right. Yeah, the other way around. There you go. So, anyway.
Look. Honestly, it's just awesome to see that at least we get that announcement, right? Michelle Watterson against JJ in Abu Dhabi, right? That's a fire fight.
That's San Fran. That's what they're saying.
I thought it was Abu Dhabi.
No.
Wait.
Unless someone else put it out. He said,
sorry.
I'm getting it.
Sorry.
Great fight.
No. Wait. Abu Dhabi is the what was it? The KGB
42.
Lee. What is it? Andrea Lee or whatever her name is against somebody else. That's who's in Abu Dhabi. Sorry, I got that.
You know what's weird about Abu Dhabi? Doesn't don't they fucking like stop women from fighting there? Am I wrong on that? Doesn't even WWE has to like take the women off, or is that somewhere else? I can't remember. Legit, I can't remember.
It's probably not Abu Dhabi. I don't.
No,
think.
Okay.
I think in Abu Dhabi, WWE had to take off some guy that was a Muslim or something like that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, fair enough.
I think that's what it was.
Right. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. All right. What was I gonna say? Yeah, Michelle Waters and Jonathan Jacek. It's a fucking hard. It's a tough fight for Michelle, but yeah, if she's been making that that run for the mom champ, I'm picking her. I don't give a fuck. I'm picking her. You know what I mean? I'll be watching like this the whole time. Like, please take her down. Please take her down. You know what I mean? But I think she has a really good shot.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that narrative either. This narrative that Joanna is just going to like maul her on the feet. Yeah, that's all I'm seeing too. I mean, maybe, but like, let's all keep in mind this is also the same girl that Thug Rose just outclassed on the feet for a long time. I mean, and I don't know. I mean, Michelle Waterson's no fucking grappler. Like, I wouldn't put it past her to fucking thunderstrike Joanna a couple times and keep her honest. I mean, I think that's a really, really good fight. I'll put it to you like that. I am not willing to just think Joanna's just going to run roughshod over her. Not at all. Not based on her previous performances. I mean, shit.
Yeah, and JJ hasn't really had those stellar performances that she did at the beginning, right?
It kind
of seems like she's kind of petered out, kind of like we kind of don't know if she's going to have another climb to the top or if it's going to like kind of just keep going down. So
right.
It's a good fight to see where everybody's at.
For sure.
All right. Jeremiah from the Hardcore MMA Show. He says, I've had that happen. It happened to me so many times. My interview will get a couple, then a couple, views, and the very next day they're on the Nosy Show getting 100,000 views.
Swear.
Happens all the time, dude.
What the fuck? Like, so it's platform, man. You can do whatever you want to do, but people dominate the industry for a reason.
Well, yeah, I mean, like us, like we have, Combate Americas here all the time. Micah from Wits always gives up his time, and yet he goes on other people's show like that. Don't give Combates a lot of respect, in my opinion. And then out of nowhere, they're like, "Oh, we got to talk about him," and then there's all the views, and you're just like, "Oh, that's great."
Of course.
Yeah. All right, boys. Let's go ahead and real quick. You guys heard about that King of the Cage shit? I know Jesse brought it up earlier with Jason House.
Yeah, that was weird, right? So are they going to let him go or not?
No. So here's the story. Here's from what I've heard, and this is not from sources or anything. Like, this is literally from people that actually reported this shit that have talked to Sucker Punch, and actually Sucker Punch Entertainment put this out themselves. So Drako Rodriguez is supposed to take Sean O'Malley's spot against Vera, and King of the Cage wouldn't let him out of his contract because he's a draw, like a local draw. And he's got like a long ass contract now.
4 more fights on his contract.
Right, which is a lot, honestly. 4 fights is a year at least. Okay. And that's just barring injury and whatever the fuck else. So they basically got his ass for at least a year, and they don't want to let him go. And it's greedy bullshit. To me, it's greedy bullshit. You're not letting a man go, pursue his dream and everything. The shit part's a lesson learned for fighters. 1, pay attention to what you're signing. Okay. 2, have a fucking manager that's been there before. Because Drako signed that contract by himself, had no manager. Okay. And usually managers negotiate shit. I should have asked Jason House about this shit. They usually negotiate an out clause. Like, hey, if so-and-so calls, we're out. We'll pay you this much fucking buyout. Excuse me, but we're out. Right. And what I heard is that they King of the Cage wanted $50,000 to let him out of his contract. God damn.
And
God damn.
If he was a bit bigger of a name, the UFC probably would have paid that, covered that, and
for sure. But instead, they got the cat that's supposed to fight Anthony Burchak in Phoenix not too long from now. Good for him. Someone got the shot, but it just sucks for Drako because that might have been his only shot. Who knows if he's gonna get that call again, or once his contract's over. If let's say he loses the next 3 fights, I mean, you never fucking know.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, at least being Drako, at least that the UFC kind of has an eye on you. Now, like you said, now he has to perform for his next 4 fights at least, and still look as good as he's been looking, to keep up that at least at a opportunity open, But yeah, you're right. I think, having a manager kind of like Jason or, anybody else in the industry is a good protection. I know a lot of fighters, kind of like Joey Benavidez, says that he doesn't need a manager. I think Demetrius for a long time didn't have a manager, but like those are the bigger names. Those are kind of like established guys. If you're a young fighter, man, you need somebody in your corner protecting you.
Right. So Sucker Punch Entertainment is Brian. I can't remember his last name. He's got like Brow something or other. Let me see if I could look it up. But he Brian Butler, Butler Au. But Brian Butler is the guy that runs it. And on his Instagram post, he says, our man Drako got the call from the UFC this weekend, a fight short notice next week. Terry King of the Cage decided to block Drako from achieving this dream because he is a local draw and ticket seller under contract. Drako was already in this contract when we took over managing him, so we weren't able to change it. But I have never seen a regional show block someone's career dream like this, especially for the peanuts KOTC is paying him. The threat of ruining my potential relationship with King of the Cage by going public on this means nothing to me if this is how you treat fighters. So, to me, all these young fighters are going to be looking at this like, why would I want to go there? What if I get to call it? Right? But bottom line, negotiate your contracts correctly, folks. Can't fucking go in there all fucking like, I'll sign whatever you want, especially if you're getting paid bullshit. All right?
Look, that's just a lesson for life, right? You gotta have somebody that knows more than you, has been there, or you're just going to learn the hard way.
Right.
Listen, just follow me on Twitter, DM me, and I'll be your manager.
Yeah, just give him a couple weeks to get the 2 stacks, get that license on the 2 stacks.
You're right. Y'all help me earn this first 2 bands. Fucking $500 will get you shaped up real quick.
Is this the beginning of Fred Kirby's management corporation?
What would you call that? Gem City Jesus Management, something like that.
That's not bad. I could kind of dig that. That's not bad.
That'd be a good little logo there for you. You can figure something out. All right. All right. Let's talk UFC 239 going down this weekend from T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada. On the early prelims on UFC Fight Pass, kicking off at 3:15 Pacific time, making it 6:15 Eastern time. You got names like Penny Kenzad opening the curtain, right? Is that what they say?
Jerking the curtain.
Jerking the curtain. Thank you. Penny Kenzad taking Julia Avila. What up?
You're like pulling the curtain.
Dude, I don't know all your fucking lingo, dude. I'm whatever. Anyway,
just move on.
Okay. Eat a dick. Anyway, all right. Ismail Naradiev against Chance Rencontre. Jack Marshman against Edmund Zion, whatever. Zion, like the basketball player almost. All right. Then the prelims are on ESPN. That's cable. So if you have ESPN, you're set. Otherwise, hit up Brandon Schaub's arch nemesis. 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. You have Alejandro Perez against Song Yadong. Song Yadong.
Hey now.
That's a hell of a name, Song. Because like they probably say it Yadong Song. That sounds way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's way better.
We should tweet that at him.
Definitely. All right. Anyway, Claudio Gadelha taking on Randon Marcos in a low-key fight right there. The aforementioned.
Wait, real quick. How do you guys feel about Claudia having, kind of her career is kind of taking that nosedive in the last couple fights here?
What's the last time she fought?
This is what we call a rebound fight, boys.
You think so?
There you go.
Absolutely. You don't? Random Marcos? Fuck. If I was a betting man, I'd bet my soul on Claudia tomorrow or fucking Saturday, whatever the fuck it is.
Okay.
Shit.
I think Claudia's gonna beat the dog shit out of Random Marcos. Is it Rand? It's Randa, right? She's one of those.
Yeah,
Random Marcos. Yeah.
Random Marcos. Okay. Randa.
Random Marcos, yeah. All right. And then the aforementioned Nolan Hernandez taking on Marlon Vera, or Chito, as we were talking about calling him. Then the featured prelim, a pretty good fight, old school versus new school. Gilbert Melendez coming back taking on Arnold Allen.
Jesus Christ Almighty. I didn't even know Gilbert was still fighting, and I'm not trying to be a cunt. I swear I didn't know he was beaten. I legit think this might be it for him if he loses, though, and I hope not, but this is going to be rough.
I think the last time I talked to him at a Combate show, he was more concentrated on his wife's career, who is doing amazing over at Bellator. So, I mean, he's probably just fighting out the rest of his contract, seeing where he's at. I mean, he's not that high on the card,
Yeah.
What does he call her? He calls her Scary Terry or Scary.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Scary Carrie. Carrie Melendez.
But by the way, in the comments, check to see if what is it? Raider, if she still has her ticket that she was selling for this event, because I remember seeing on Twitter she was selling her ticket. She wasn't going.
I'm pretty sure she sold them. So
okay.
I mean, that's what I saw, but I didn't know what event she was going to, but I saw that she did sell her ticket. So
I think it was this one.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a good card to go to. I don't know. I wonder what happened. Anyway, all right. Oh shit, where the hell's the card? Here it is. All right. Then opening the main card on pay-per-view at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Diego Sanchez taking on Michael Chiesa, another old school versus new-ish school. Excuse me. Then Luke Rockhold's moving up to 205 against John Blachowicz. Then to me, what should be fight of the night, I think he's going to be fight of the night, is Jorge Masvidal against Ben Askren. At the very least, it's the most interesting fight on the card. Now,
who takes it?
Masvidal.
Oh, okay.
I mean, listen, I would love to see Masvidal throw old fucking goofy looking Ben a nice fucking backyard Miami ass kicking. But, you know, listen, if I had to bet my fucking firstborn child on it, this is probably Ben Askren all day, right? I mean, we know what Ben Askren's going to do. Look, I hate to say it, but Ben Askren gave a really good analysis of this fucking fight, his own fucking self, to one of those Brett Okamoto type characters. But he was basically just saying, look, Robbie Lawler hits a shitload harder than Jorge Masvidal, and you seen what happened to him after he beat the fuck out of me for about 30 seconds. Q Prick had a good point. Like, is Masvidal going to be able to outmove and outpoint Ben Askren for fucking 15 minutes? I just don't see it. I mean, being realistic about the fight, right. I hope he does. But at some point, I feel like the way you beat Ben Askren is how Robbie almost did it. Just boom, put the cute little prick out. Because if you let that fight, he's like Khabib. Like that, I think that's how you beat Khabib too. I think Khabib can very well be beat. You just gotta hurt him. Like you got to knock them the fuck out on the feet. You got to clip them and hurt them and then stay on them and keep hitting them until they're out. Now, Jorge could do that. Let's not get it too twisted. Jorge's got some power, but fuck, man, Robbie's the power king. He was fucking flipping Ben around and beating the dog piss out of him. And I'll give it to the ugly little fucker. He ended up fucking choking the shit out of Robbie. I still think that fight got stopped too early, but nonetheless, Ben Askren was in an advantageous position when they did call the fucking fight. So it's just hard for me to envision a fight where that fucker don't get a hold of Jorge and drag him down. Now, I don't think he gets the finish. I think Jorge's very competent on the ground, but I just see this fight being with Ben getting the takedown and just working constantly, not really getting the submission, but working for it, you know. Probably a real dominant fucking decision that we're all going to boo and dislike. And Ben's going to run his fucking yap off and probably get the title shot behind it too.
Yeah, God, you know, Dana White's probably like, fucking Jorge, please fucking win this shit.
I mean, listen, probably not. I mean, to be fair, I would kind of like the Ben because what do you got left? Colby fucking Covington. He's probably please win, Ben, so I can stick it to this little prick. Oh, you think that's funny, huh? Popping up on me while I'm in fucking blackjack, you cute the little Asian broad that was sitting next to me, the old lady wasn't supposed to be seeing. Colby, you fucking cunt. Everything ain't a joke. Listen,
that's what I was going to say.
In the bag race just since that little stunt, and I'm telling you right now, there was a little piece of fucking Asian yum next to Dana, and I'm telling you, that shit right there rubbed me the wrong way. When the fucking cameras were off, he's probably like, "What the fuck's the matter with you? You fucking stupid kid, I'm here with my fucking piece of trim. Goddamn old lady sees shit like this. It's the internet. Are you out of your fucking mind?" A fucking title shot. Boosting your ego.
Which is why probably Colby's not getting that title shot, and it's probably like 2-3 fights away now.
Listen, he's fighting Robbie Lawler. That's what they do for people they hate. That's why they did it to Ben first. What the fuck? Don't nobody want to fight Robbie. You see what happens to Robbie's opponents? Even when Robbie loses. Look at fucking Ben Askren's face. Like when Robbie hits you, it hurts bad. Like people were talking about Francis Ngannou being our Mike Tyson. I tell you what, I think it's Robbie Lawler. That motherfucker breaks your face when he hits you. Like it's gonna hurt. Suck that, Colby. You'll probably win that fight, Colby, but your cute little face is gonna get busted at some point. You're gonna fucking bleed in that one.
No, I'll say this much, man. With Colby ain't never getting a title shot. I'll say it right now. Ever. That's never happening.
If Ben Askren wins, he sure as shit ain't.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if it really was, Dana White's side piece there, I don't think he's ever gonna get a title shot. Dana White's gonna keep coming up with somebody else. Who's number 7 in the division? Yeah, that guy gets a shot.
You know, the problem is he's a welterweight. There's too many other good welterweights for them. We can just keep overlooking Colby, and he ain't all that exciting to keep it a bean. So you better go up to heavyweight, Colby. You ain't getting the shot at welter.
Never. No. All right. Obviously, we got to talk about the fights here. Amanda Nunes defending against Holly Holm. I put out a tweet the other day about which fighter is more likely to get upset. And I got a handful of neither. And I'm like, oh, good job, dipshit. You didn't answer the question. Fucking more likely. I didn't say who's gonna fucking lose it. So it was between Holly Holm and John Jones. Obviously, mostly people said more than likely, or not Holly Holm, Amanda Nunes. Mostly it was like 69% said, or 65% that Amanda Nunes was more than likely going to lose her. Is more likely to lose her belt than John Jones. Anyone agree?
Yeah, I think that's an obvious one. I mean, like, look, it's simple, right? Thiago Santos has pretty much one way to beat John Jones.
Right.
He either knocks him out early, or we all fucking know he sure as fuck ain't going to out grapple him. He ain't going to out wrestle him. He's not going to triangle choke him. Like, you know what I mean? He's got one shot at beating John Jones. That's knocking him out with a haymaker early. After that, it's a fucking wrap. Holly Holm could potentially do a whole bunch of different things to Amanda Nunes. She could out wrestle her, potentially. I'm not saying she will, but it's a possibility. She could outstrike her. Again, highly doubtful, but fucking possible. Goddamn professional boxer this broad used to be. She's a big, lanky broad for the division. I mean, I think Holly Holm listen, quite frankly, I think that is a good fight. I do think Amanda Nunes will win. I mean, I think obviously she's the favorite for a very good reason, but I think that fight is pretty close. I think Holly Holm could very well win that fight. I think Thiago Santos has a snowball's chance in hell in beating fucking John Jones, which is quite frankly like any other fucking man walking the planet as far as it goes. I mean, Amanda's been beat before. Like, we've seen her lose before. I mean, it's been a long time, but like, you know what I mean? There is somewhat of we've seen her in close fights. We're talking about John fucking Pico Jones, Jack. What the fuck? Like, you know.
Yeah. No, right. I think Fred hit it right on the nail right on the head. You know, it's very difficult to justify how Thiago Santos wins the fight, right? Like, we all see it one way. Like, there's nobody else that has a different perspective of how he can win this fight, you know? Like, there just isn't, you know, like, being honest. Like, it's not that we don't think that, well, a lot of people don't think that he deserves that opportunity, but he's the next guy. And I think, you know, it is what it is at this point. You know, we can't be mad about it. But, I mean, there's only one way. But with Holly Holm, we've already seen her not only, you know, take Cyborg, you know, 5 rounds, lose a very close decision. She beat, you know, Ronda Rousey. You know, she was doing work against Miesha Tate before she got, you know, like, she's very, very this could be her last shot at getting gold in the UFC. So, you know, she's going to really put in the effort to try and win this fight. So, like Fred said, I think this is going to be like one of the better fights.
She's her last shot.
At least the most competitive, right? The most closely contested, because we know the main event, if it doesn't end like within the first, you know, 2-3 minutes of the first round, it's not going to be competitive after.
All right, yeah. So yeah, I agree with you guys. That's more likely than Nunes loses the belt before John Jones does. But of course, the main event is John Jones and Thiago Santos, and that's a good point. I think if Santos comes out and hurts John Jones early, he has a chance. Knocks him out, obviously he wins, right? But he hurts him early, he has a chance, right? I think if he hurts John Jones early, he can.
So?
It depends on how bad he hurts him.
Exactly. It's got to be bad.
He's been hurting his career. Thunder strikes him, big gash.
You got to wobble the shit out of him.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to be hurt bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Anything possible.
He hits hard enough to do that.
You're right, but I think John Jones is the wrong person to hurt and not finish. I think if he hurts him,
100%.
Because if he lets him off the hook, or like it's the end of the round and like John Jones gets that, you know, that calm sage advice, you know, from Jackson in the corner, gets him back into focus. I mean, we seen what he did against Gustafsson, right? He got hurt, he got tested, he came back after, you know, Jackson's over there with his just calm breathe. It's okay. He got him back in there and he did work. So
if he lets Uncle Greg get him in the waterfall, son, it's all over.
Yeah.
If he lets him get him in the waterfall, it's all over when John comes out for that next round, Jack. It's gonna be you made him bleed his own blood. Now you're definitely beating Tiago. He's gonna take you down and beat the shit out of you now.
It's like waterfalls, John. Waterfalls.
I don't know.
Remember, hey,
if I hurt him kind of bad, but I didn't finish him in that first round, I'm like, oh god,
yeah.
Now,
I better run. Yeah. He's like, waterfalls, John. Waterfalls. Remember, picograms. You are ready, dude. Picograms got your back. There's no way you lose picograms. Just throw that shit in there. All right. Yeah. So that's UFC 239 again this weekend. I thought it was gonna be last weekend. So shit, but yeah, 239 is this weekend. Let me check the comments here. Got banned from the palms for life. Colby got banned from the palms for life.
I think they
for running up on Dana.
Yeah, I think they talked about it though, and I think he's okay.
Okay.
If I remember the story, but yeah, he did get banned for that.
All right. Well, shit. MMA guy says, think Holly will try to use her wrestling like when she fought Megan Anderson.
I think she will if she gets thunderstruck.
I think she should.
Yeah, I think that I think she'll try to strike with her. I mean, she's fucking got a longer reach than Amanda, right? Like,
should.
I could see her trying to stay long and strike with her for a minute. And if it gets but don't get me wrong, if it starts getting dicey at all, I could see her shooting a double leg fast as fuck. Like for sure, I could see her. You know what I mean? She's like a fucking nervous cop in the hood, Jack, with her hands on the gun. As soon as she gets clipped a little bit, she's gonna be like, bam, right on that double leg. Let me get you right on your back. I mean, because listen, to be fair, that's probably her best case scenario to win the fight. Put Amanda on her back.
Kat Zingano did it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Exactly.
Kat Zingano did it. By the way, DC did that detail. He talks about Kat Zingano doing it. That's how he beat Amanda Nunes. I mean, I'm not saying that Greg Jackson doesn't already know that, but I'm sure they watched that episode. It's like, oh yeah, maybe we should fucking implement some of this shit.
Yeah.
And you know for sure they looked at that Cyborg fight and they're like, okay, this is what you don't do. You don't get in a firefight. You don't stay in range.
Don't brawl.
Yeah. I mean, and plus Holly Holmes is smart. She's got a really high fight IQ.
Right.
So I don't think she'll make those mistakes. That's why I think Fred was really correct in saying that it's going to be a competitive fight because they're both very smart. And like I said, Holly is at the end of her rope here. So it's now or never. It's do or die for her.
Yeah. Right. Almost over for Holly, but this is her last title shot.
Okay. Now, hold on. Before we wrap this shit up, here's the most interesting question about all this whole little snake ass fight card for me.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Unless the MMA gods themselves shine their fucking bright cock upon Thiago Santos and give him a fucking W after John inevitably thrashes him, what in the fuck do we do with John Jones?
He gets what's the guy that busted his shoulder?
No, don't ruin that guy's life. Fucking Johnny Walker.
No. It's that's not realistic.
Here's the thing though. Yeah, Johnny Walker. Here's the problem. I don't think anything is going to get resolved until DC has its fight with a couple weeks. Right. Well, up until then, I don't think we're going to hear anything about John Jones either.
You meant until DC retires?
205 or moving up. Huh?
You said until DC retires?
No, until either he wins or loses the heavyweight.
Oh, okay.
Once that happens, then we'll know if Jones is moving up to go take that belt from DC, or if he's just going to stay at 205 and run a legacy. Especially with the whole UFC thing, trying to wipe clean his record and make it so he's an undefeated fighter and all this stuff.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think they want to run with that and him dominate 205 for years and years and years.
Let's have some fucking fun and put our fucking nuts to the fire a little bit. Who does John Jones fight next? Who is John Jones' next fight after this one? I assume we all fucking assume he's going to win. What happens next?
Shit.
I have no idea, to be honest. Who the fuck would even be available at 205? Would they fast track Luke Rockhold with one win over Jan? Is that what we would really get?
if it's impressive enough, look. Yeah. If it's impressive enough, they give us fucking Lionheart and Thiago Santos. They give us blown up middleweights.
Wow.
You know I mean, they'll throw fucking Rockhold at us if he wins impressively. If he wins impressively, if he doesn't, you might just sit on John for the rest of the year, even if he doesn't want to.
I don't think they sit on John though. I think they just throw Johnny Walker or somebody else in there that's
God, no.
You know, a warm body. And it sucks because I think Fred's right at this point. It's either you move John Jones up and give him that challenge, or he just keeps crushing tomato cans at 205. And like I said last week and the week before, they're just giving John Jones people too early. They're not even developed all the way to be at that level.
Let me give you the guys that are ranked under him. Okay.
Do we got a freak show fight we can do with John? Is there anybody that nobody's thinking about? Is there some fucking is there any fucking fun we could have? Like, all bullshit aside, is he really going to fight Luke Rockhold next? Like, what the fuck are we going to do with John Jones after this fight?
There's a tiny bit of heat there if Rockhold wins impressively.
Yeah, but like you said, I mean, what the fuck, legit 3 blown up middleweights in a row? Are we all just going to act like that's not real?
No, that's what it's going to be, man, because especially because you only have Luke Rockhold with a name. You have a name there, or Yoel Romero, or Johnny Walker just because he's on a hot streak. But other than that, you don't have any names there. Go ahead, Eddie. Read that crappy list.
So I'm going off the light heavyweight list right now, okay? DC's 1, Thiago Santos 2. He's fighting him this weekend. Anthony Smith he already beat. Dominic Reyes would be I think the next guy if it was like a 205 fight for sure. Gus is 5, but he's retired. Blachowicz is 6. Volkan Ellsmere 7. Corey Anderson's 8. Latifi's 9, but I think he retired too, didn't he?
Yeah.
I
believe so.
Glover Teixeira 10. Alexander Rakic is 11. He's impressive, but he ain't ready. And then Johnny Walker's 12. You know what I mean? There's not really much at light heavyweight.
That is fucking disgusting.
Right.
Gross. I tell you what. What do we got at heavyweight? There's I'm changing my mind. He has got to take a fight at heavyweight after this. There's no fucking way. Like Luke Rockhold, we can't fucking give Luke Rockhold the fucking title shot coming off a win over Jan Blachowicz. Maybe he gets it, but surely he's got to do more than that. Like this is John goddamn Jones. We gotta stop acting fucking silly here. I mean, I know he's young, but what in the fuck? Sure, like give me the top 5 at fucking heavyweight. Okay, so Francis, let's fucking say that he don't get Francis. Let's be realistic for a minute. Okay, so he don't get Francis. Francis is getting the next title shot. What the fuck else is going on? Surely the top 4 at heavyweight are more interesting than all that bullshit you just rattled off.
Right. So Stipe, Francis are 1 and 2. JDS is 3. Curtis Blades is 4. Derek Lewis is 5. Alexander Volkov is 6. Here's an interesting one if he wants to do a freak show fight in Alistair Overeem at 7.
That's
Kane's
not
8.
bad.
It's not bad, right?
Alistair Overeem is kind of fun. That's kind of fun, and it's dangerous enough they can sell it that Alistair's actually got a chance.
Yeah, Cain Velasquez 8 is wrestling. Alexei Oleinik is 9. Shamil Abdurakhimov is 10. And then you go off to the rest.
Even Curtis Blades is a super easy, safe fight, but it's more interesting than fucking anything in 205. Actually, I tell you what, I like Curtis Blades because, of course, John Jones is going to beat him, but you can bill it as this big. It's a fight at heavyweight. It's a big guy who's got these wins over other big heavyweights and shit. Like, it's a good. You know what? I'm fucking calling it, Jack. Curtis Blades versus John Jones in his inaugural fight. Is that how you pronounce that word? Probably not. Y'all suck my dick. In his first fight at heavyweight, because there's simply nothing left for him at 205. Eventually, we got to start selling some fucking tickets. You got to start selling some intrigue with John Jones at some point, man. He's the greatest fighter on fucking earth. He can't keep fighting these motherfuckers just because we can't hustle up a better name.
Very true. All right, and then in the conversation, we got people talking about Reyes and Walker at 205. We're talking Weidman. He's moving up.
Enough
Joe
with
Romero,
middleweights.
Yeah. Joe Romero at 205, but he's another middleweight. Just can't make weight. Yeah, I know. It's interesting.
I like Johnny Walker and Dominic Reyes, but it's way too soon.
Yeah.
Way too soon. Like, I like that. But let John moonlight at heavyweight for a minute. Let them fight each other at the very least. Quite frankly, I think in an ideal world, both of them two should fight somebody else. And if they come out on top, let them fight each other and then 2 wins from now, if either one of them get 2 more knockouts, then you might be cooking with some. You know what I mean? Like, look, this is how you do it, right? Let Dominic fucking Reyes and Johnny Walker fight each other next, right? Whoever wins that fight, let them fight Luke Rockhold if his cute little ass actually gets past Jan Blachowicz. And then if Luke can fucking beat Jan and then one of those killers, then fine. I'll be okay with giving him the title shot. He'll actually have fucking earned it. But to come up and beat Jan Blachowicz and sneak into getting beaten by John Jones, man, stop, kiss my ass, man. I'm pilfering that shit. I ain't
all right. I'm with you. All right. Yo was trying to. It was calling for Yo Romero and Corey Anderson. I don't know. All right. Let me check the headlines here real quick for MMA. Nothing. Oh, yeah, John Lineker getting cut. Did they give a reason for that?
No.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, his optimal fucking weight is flyweight. He can't make that weight, and they about to get rid of the division. It is what it is.
Where do you think he ends up? Do you think he's over at the PFL next season, or Ryzen, or One, or what?
He's off the Ryzen where you can weigh in behind closed doors, and it doesn't matter if you make it or not.
No, you mean One.
Yeah, or
One. Sorry, One.
You know, listen, same drive over Ryzen, no doubt. But probably One. I feel like One has they're trying to build that smaller roster team type deal. So I would say One's probably higher than ranking. But then you always got Bellator. Bellator definitely got a little bit of a bag they could throw at him, and they could actually offer him a platform too. So either Bellator or One.
Yeah. I think if I had to guess, to be One because DJ went over there and he wants to, you know, make or not make 125.
That's why I think One might do it too. That's an automatic big fight, a fight that kind of probably should have been made in the UFC that they could actually make now. And both guys, you know, nobody's too old. Tell you what, shit, that'll make me watch One.
I'm telling you, I would too. I mean,
DJ Lineker, that'd be a real fun fight.
I mean, everybody guesses he's a bantamweight.
Yeah, listen, nothing that old China can't handle. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know if you missed the first part of the show, but they don't got to weigh in around each other over in fucking Bangkok, so they'll figure out something for old Johnny boy.
Yeah, they got the towel for him. Don't you worry.
Yeah,
there you go. There you go. All right, anything else you guys want to talk about before we head out of here?
No, I think that does it, boys. We covered all the bases. We taught you how to be a manager. Goddamn it, set up an African card for the UFC. Somebody got to start. I mean, listen.
We're starting careers in this show, motherfuckers.
Yeah, I do got something I want to fucking say.
All right.
I want to fucking say for everybody watching right now, if you're fucking watching, you're hearing my voice, fucking retweet it. All right? Put it on your fucking timeline. Take the fucking show. It ain't going to cost you that much. Re-fucking tweet it. Don't give me no nice words about being funny. Retweet the goddamn show. Say some nice shit about it. Let's get some more fucking viewers. Get some fucking live chat jumping and shit. You know what I'm saying? Let's fucking participate. Let's get some tweets on this goddamn thing.
There we go. Speaking of which, I'm gonna check out the comment section real quick.
I mean, it might take Fred taking off his shirt, you know, shaving his beard, shaving his hair to get that, but you know.
Listen. Tease me, motherfuckers. Tickle these nuts a little bit. Give me about motherfucking 5-6 retweets, and I'll come on this bitch topless next week. You understand me?
Oh, fuck. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We got shout out to Raider, MMA guys, Pierre Rose hanging out, Jeremiah from the Hardcore MMA show. Frederick, QC was here. Fucking, yeah, everyone else fucking showing us. Sorry, it's a bunch of comments, and I just lost track here. Let the Nicker smash Gallagher over in Bellator versus Jeremiah. I'd be down to see that. Yeah, so shout out to all you guys that tune in. We appreciate it. Shout out to Jason House, who joined us from Iridium Sports. At Iridium. What's up?
I said Team Darkside. That's
Team Darkside. There you go. At Iridium Sports on Twitter. 3 guys on the card this weekend. Name, obviously, like Chito Vera being the big name. Great story from that guy. 2 replacement fights. It's crazy with that dude. But Jason House does a really good job of managing his fighters. So yeah, I really appreciate him coming on. Like I said, you can follow him at Iridium Sports on Twitter. Fred Kirby's at Kirby_MMA. Jesse's at Spoolwatt1983. I'm at Eli31. And the show is at Keyboard MMA. Shout out to SpicySports.com. Hit him up. Get yourself some of the good shit. And shout out to RipTheWarriors.com. Just dropped some new shit a couple days ago. Sunday. All right. Go get yourself some of the shit. What's up?
You know what? I should ask you off there, but hey, screw it. We break the fourth wall all the time. Any news on that giveaway that you keep teasing on your Morning Glory?
Right. I'm that close. We're getting close. We're trying to figure out exactly how we want to do it. We don't necessarily want to do, or they don't necessarily want to do the follow this, retweet this. No shit. We want to keep it as simple as possible. So yeah, we're working out, we'll figure it out. All right, guys. All right. If nothing else, appreciate you guys. You guys are the shit. We'll catch you guys next time. Oh, fuck. Sorry, real quick. The next couple of weeks will be a little iffy. I go on vacation next Wednesday. So July 10th to 17th, I'm out of town. So we're gonna have to shuffle the show a little bit. Might go on Tuesday next week, and we might go on Thursday the week after. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out. We might cancel the show. You never know. But we're gonna figure this shit out. So we'll let you guys know what's up. All right. So yeah, we'll catch you guys next week. Good night, Wilshire. Oh man,
live button. It's always with the fucking live.
It's always there. The Google Hangouts, man, because they're going away. It's still going.
It's still going. I know. I don't have that fucking time.